You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here's your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
I'm Megan Brady, and you're listening to Galloping Getaways for Thursday, December 25th. As always, we are on Horses in the Morning every fourth Thursday of the month and cover everything equestrian travel. Brought to you by the Equestrian Travel Association. Merry Christmas, Horse World.
Ride away with us on this special monthly equestrian travel episode, brought to you by the Equestrian Travel Association.
Welcome to Galloping Getaways, the podcast that explores the soul of equestrian travel, where meaningful adventure, cultural connection, and uncompromising horse welfare come together. I'm your host, Megan Brady, equine wellness practitioner and founder of the Equestrian Travel Association. Each episode, we journey to remarkable destinations around the world, meet the people shaping them, and dive into what's responsible horse-centered travel truly looks like when it's done right. Today, we're traveling to Portugal to visit Dom Cavalo, a place deeply rooted in Lusitano heritage, thoughtful horsemanship, and intentional land stewardship. I'm joined by Anna and Naomi, the women behind an experience that values depth over display and connection over convenience. So settle in, take a breath, and join us as we ride into the story of tradition, integrity, and what really matters to travel in harmony with horse. Tune in and gallop away with us on Galloping Getaways. Today, I'm welcoming two women who each bring a unique and deeply informed perspective to the Dom Cavalo experience and to equestrian travel in Portugal. Anna joins us first, someone whose connection to horses, the land, and the day-to-day reality of Dom Cavalo offers a grounded, insider view of what makes this destination so special. Her work reflects a deep respect for the Lusitano tradition, thoughtful horsemanship, and the values that shape responsible equestrian travel. I'm also joined by Naomi, whose perspective adds another layer to Dom Cavalo's story, bridging culture, experience design, and the guest journey. Naomi brings a global lens to equestrian travel and a clear understanding of what today's riders are truly seeking: authenticity, welfare, and meaningful connection. Together, these conversations offer an inside look at what makes Dom Cavalo such a meaningful destination: the people, the values, and the intention behind every experience. Well, Anna, it was so wonderful to have you on Galloping Getaways on our podcast today. It's great to see your face as well. I missed you. I haven't seen you, since June when we first met?
Couple months.
Yeah, a couple months.
I also thank you to be here and to see you again, obviously, in these months to see and know what you have been doing. And obviously, everyone will know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just going to jump right into it. So tell me a little bit about your role and what sparked the vision at the farm.
Okay, so we are typical Portuguese stud. Mm-hmm. That started in 1998, so many years ago. Basically, it started as a school, a basic school for kids to start riding. And then the owner is a visionary, and he's always thinking in projects and how to develop, always thinking on new things and how can he improve. And in this case, he focused on our breed, the Lusitano horses. Mm-hmm. So he has to focus on some things. And if you want several things at the same time, you lost the focus. So also he found some partners to breed. Mm-hmm. So we have two places where we breed. So basically we do it all. We breed, we train, and we sell worldwide Lusitano horses. Mm-hmm. We also have horses in competition. We have horses for all levels. So it depends on what people want. Besides of this, people started to request lessons to us
Mm-hmm.
to improve, to make kind of internships and things like that. And so, okay, we started to receive people. At the beginning, we didn't had accommodation. Now we have a small apartment, and I have a partnership with a farm, which is has a permaculture. Their meaning is all natural food, and it's like in a hill. So to rest, who wants to combine like both things, it's super. And we do another thing. We can go there and make a trail on that area. There's a river, and we have already explored that. So things have been developing.
Yeah.
Lessons, trails. And the thing is that usually people do trails at the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Trails, okay, maybe not at some cities, maybe at the world there will be something, but it's not very common.
Mm-hmm.
And at the beach, so we decided to do a different thing, which is mixing the trails with monuments.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the most requested. The beach are always
Yes.
requested, but mixing the forest and the monuments, it's amazing because they can leave the horse and go inside to the monument, and it's a different experience, obviously.
Yeah. And I, as you know, I visited you and I got to have the whole experience, which was amazing. I got to stay in the apartment on the farm and I got to take lessons and I got to take that tour where we got to see the monuments, which was so cool. I mean, I've never had an experience like that where you just, you ride up to the monuments and then you get off, you can go into the churches or to the different buildings. And it was just really magical.
That one is just right next to us, and it's so huge. The thing is that usually the guests are more surprised because they come with the horses. They start entering on the village, on the back of the church, which it seems a small church.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you step aside and go in front and you see it's a sanctuary. Actually, they wanted to promote it, and because it was the known architecture, Ernesto Corrodi, that made it. So it's a very important monument. And they are going to include it also for the religion tours,
Mm-hmm.
because it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's incredible. It's really incredible. It's definitely one of those places where I walked into and you immediately get goosebumps. And it's just, yeah.
I'm feeling that just now, just
Yeah.
for you, because I know at the other day I took a client there. I went to the trail with her also.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was like, she prayed,
Mm-hmm.
she's a believer, and she was a little bit tears on her eyes, and I noticed that it had a meaning. So
Yeah.
that's a lot for us. It
Yeah.
means a lot.
Yeah. It's definitely a special place for sure.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously your beach rides, I also did that and it was incredible. I mean, there's just something special to be able to ride a horse on the
On a
beach.
beach.
It just is. And at sunset no less, and it was just, yeah, it was incredible.
That's why we try. Sometimes they ask like to do it at the morning or at the other. I make the effort for them to try to take the sunset, because it's completely a different
Yeah.
ambience, and it makes more magical, let's say like that.
For sure. 1000%. So what is it when a guest arrives, what do you want them to feel immediately? Because I know what I felt immediately, but I just want to know what, your goals are when a guest comes to you.
Well, first of all, before a guest arrives, I send a form so that they can fill, so that we can more or less be prepared for what are their goals, especially on writing their levels, their expectations. So I pass that info and give the form also to the coach, so that he knows what the client wants, what the rider wants exactly.
Yeah.
Obviously, the first lesson is always to see, but he knows already their goals, and that's a good advance instead of explaining everything. And the first thing is that they can feel welcoming because we feel like we are a family, we are a team that work. Usually, the customers say that you look like a family. And the good thing is that I felt like part of the family at a certain point. And we don't, obviously you are customers, but we do with pleasure. We are ourselves. We just try to please and do everything for the best, to have the best experience ever, obviously.
Yeah. And that was definitely my experience. I definitely felt like from the moment I met you and the moment that we went out to lunch that first time to the farm, that you treated me just like family. And it was like a big hug. That's what I would say.
As we say, we are huggers. Sometimes there are some foreigners that don't have our customs to kiss, to hug, to we stay in, as I used to say, well, we are huggers, so let's give a hug.
Yeah. So tell me about your horses. Tell me about all the different horses that you have. I know that you have lesson horses and competition horses and breeding. How many do you have?
Horses.
What? Sorry?
Therapy horses.
Therapy horses.
Also.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I was almost forgetting that part of it.
Yeah.
That's why I said we pretty much have all, I think. Yeah, we have horses for lessons, especially for the daily lessons for the locals, kids or adults. Due to this breeding that most of the people doesn't know, their versatility can jump, they can do working equitation, they can do track, they can do dressage, they can do several things that other breeds are not so focused. So this is the oldest saddle horse in the world. It's a very interesting breed. So being so able to adapt to everything. Those school horses, for example, the same horses, some jump and do dressage at the same time. So that's easy and cool for that. Obviously, we have some horses that are more for the therapies. For who knows, a therapy horse has to be well chosen. But we know that if we put some other rider upon it, her behavior, it's a bit different. But yeah, you have the therapy horses, and then you have the foals that start to being rough, and then to the Grand Prix level. We have through outside and boxes around 50 horses, more or less, at the moment. And then the high level horses we deliver to riders that are good riders, obviously, and from our confidence to develop them to go to more competition and to make them that standard. Those are for the big requests. Yeah, because we at our place, our main place, we can just manage everything. And so we deliver it to some other good riders to manage their, obviously we control and we keep seeing and knowing how they are. We make visits, but that's a way of managing their careers also.
Yeah, absolutely. So in your eyes, what qualities does a truly safe and generous equestrian travel horse needs to have? So like for example, like when I came and you didn't know me, you didn't know my riding, but what are the qualities that you look in your horses, especially for people, like not for your lessons, but people who are coming for, more of a vacation?
On the outside, yeah. Even the form that should help us. Sometimes people say they are advanced riders or they are not. Actually, this last year, it happened 2 or twice. They were even vaulting. And they said, so we know that that form, it is how it is.
Yeah.
We can be totally confident. So at least for the first lesson, we start with a medium horse that we know like it's not spooky, but it's a medium horse. That's no problem at all. It's good for a beginner, but it's good for an intermediate also.
Yeah.
That's the way that we choose. That's why if they stay 1, 2, or 3 days, you change the horse as long as the coach see that you can go further, and also to experience different horses, because Grand Prix horses, for example, are much more sensitive, and you ride them in a different way than a horse with an inferior level.
Yeah. Awesome. So, what do you think, or how does the Portugal landscape and culture influences the experience that you've built there?
How did we did it?
Like how does the landscape and the culture influence what you do and what you provide to guests?
Well, for what people used to say, it's a welcoming place. When they arrive, it seems like it's like a small place, but then they see that actually it's like a cozy place. And actually it is big. And they feel home. It's cozy, basically. And now, for example, it's all green. When you came, the sun has already all at the same color, but now it's all green. So it's a piece, and only arriving there if it isn't for riding. Today's therapists, for example, they stayed outside, most of them, just at the sun. And you just see green all around you, and horses working and doing therapies and all of that. So that's a combination that who loves horses have a beautiful landscape, even with the trails, the beaches, with all of that. But even our place and our way of dealing with the customers, being ourselves and being always available, because one of our main purpose is to customize. Because there are lots of centers that they do group lessons. We try not to do that, because even if you want to improve, and if you want an individual lesson, if you want better and fast progresses, you have to have an individual lesson. If someone asks, okay, I can open like for 2 at the same, ideally it's 1, 2, okay. More than that for this kind of lessons, no. Prefer quality than quantity.
So I know that you have a lot of, you have a lot of local lessons for the locals, and you do therapies, and you do have a lot of travelers coming for sale horses and things like that. But if somebody was coming like myself, who wanted to take some lessons, and I also wanted to, go on a beach ride and go tour the monuments, if a traveler really wants to do that and feels pulled towards this experience, who do you think is ideally like your client? Do you find that people that have no experience, a little experience, a lot of experience,
That's one thing,
someone who just shows up,
For now, and one of our goals, at least maybe the next year, is to have those kind of horses that just everyone can ride. They can go alone, like there's no problem at all. And we have some of these horses, but for groups, for trails, for example, as you are mentioning, we have the condition that they have to have some experience.
I think that for people wanting to come visit you and to travel to you, that, they need to have some experience riding just to get the full,
the trails, yes.
Yes.
The trail
effect.
At least the basic.
Not
knowing at all, no. Unfortunately, I'm the first saying sorry, but no. Has to have some experience. Well, sometimes I just advise, well, maybe you can start with some lessons. And sometimes it doesn't take so long, but they need to know it's not a bike. It's like a person. It has feelings, it spooks, and you need to know what to do in case of. Obviously, there's a guide, there's other people, but we can't do everything on a horse, as you you know better than me. So one of the things so that form is also for as in insurance. So everyone that comes knows that they are insured in case of something happens. That's also another thing good that we have is the insurance. And helmets always.
Yes. Safety first.
Some may not like it, but that's a condition.
Yes.
That we don't, or if something happens, the insurance just doesn't cover.
Yeah. Well, I know. I mean, I just had such a wonderful experience staying with you and just touring everything from the center city to the horses to all my lessons and
Working equitation.
working equitation. I took my very first working equitation lesson, which was humbling at best, but it was so much fun. I would do it again in a heartbeat. It was so much fun. And your horses were amazing to work with, and obviously your staff and everybody was just so welcoming. Well, welcome, Naomi, to the Galloping Getaways podcast. It's so wonderful to have you on our show and wonderful to talk to you again. We met in, June? And I just had a wonderful experience meeting everyone at Dom Cavalo and spending time with you and the horses, obviously. So it's just a joy to have you on our podcast today.
No, thank you so much, Megan. It's a real honor to be on your podcast. And it was so lovely hosting you guys in June and just sharing our little corner of the world and our love of the Lusitanos with you guys.
Yeah, it was definitely special. I was saying to Anna that it felt like it was like a big hug. A warm hug being there.
That's great, because that's exactly what we want to achieve. We want you guys to walk away as friends. You know, we're a big family at the end of the day. We are a smallish yard in the, grand scheme of things. So everything that we do is very personal and very sort of unique and custom to each person.
Yeah.
So really enjoyed it.
I love it. And it was it was a magical experience for sure. So tell me a little bit about how you got involved and your role there at Dom Cavalo.
So it started with the move from Hong Kong. So 3 years ago, my family and we all moved to Portugal from Hong Kong, just for a better quality of life, a little bit more of a life-work balance. And before coming to Portugal, I didn't really know a lot about the Lusitano. So I was a lot more aware of the Andalusians, the Lipizzaners. But once you move to Portugal, and if you're an equestrian, the Lusitanos, they're going to come and find you. Mm-hmm. So eventually I heard about the breed and I thought, okay, this is amazing. And I've never ridden a Lusitano in my life. I don't know much about Iberian horses. So I started Googling and searching for stables nearby. Little did I know that the home that we live in now was only 10 minutes away from the stables. So it was a long story short. I went there, I introduced myself, and Anna and we immediately got talking, and we have a really lovely connection that's now sort of blossomed into more of a friendship. And as I said before, the stables, they're very, very welcoming. So even to me, being a foreigner, not knowing anyone in the country, I immediately felt at home with them. And so we got talking about just providing these amazing, unique experiences. Kind of what it would have been for me, for a person who's never ridden a Lusitano, doesn't know much about Portugal, the culture, the breed. And we wanted to be able to share that same experience with the rest of the world, pretty much. Mm-hmm. So my role here now in Dom Cavalo is that I assist Anna in the tourism side of it. So what my role is I create packages. Mm-hmm. Some of them are like pre-made packages to make it a little bit easier for clients to find out what they want. And the other role I have is that I create unique packages, so custom-made experience, which is a very one-to-one tailored experience to make sure that we tick all their boxes, whether they've come to just enjoy Portugal and learn about the culture, whether, they've ridden for many years, but for example, they've never experienced the Piaffe and they've seen it on TV and they go, oh, I really want to feel what it feels like. Mm-hmm. So we custom the whole itinerary to them. And so I'm a little bit of Anna's, I guess, assistant in that respect.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know for when I was there, I mean, that's what you guys did for me. And I just had a wonderful experience. I got to take dressage lessons. I got to take my first working equitation lesson, which was humbling and amazing all at the same time. And then obviously got to, go on the beach and tour the monuments. So I just got like the best of all the worlds while I was there. So
no, it's really good fun. And it's fun for me, to be honest, to make these packages. I love it.
I
Because
bet.
it just challenges me and I'm like, what do you want to do? I'll try and tick every single box I can.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So what do you feel makes, I guess, feel genuinely welcome when you come there and even grounded in the moment when they arrive? Because as you know, like when you travel, especially from a different country, people can be anxious about that or a little nervous. And especially I know, traveling myself and traveling with other people get a very insecure about their own riding in front of people, especially in like a lesson program or riding in front of like professionals. So how do you make guests feel genuinely welcomed and grounded? Because that's certainly what I felt.
So I would say we start off with trying to take over the experience from the beginning, from your arrival at the airport. So I know that a lot of people get stressed and they will call me up and go, oh, I don't even know how to get to your place because you're not in Lisbon, you're not in Porto, you're somewhere in the middle. So wherever you fly to within Portugal, we will make sure that we have someone there to pick you up, to take you straight to our place, to just take any of that stress away. And when you arrive, it's at the beginning, it's all about just getting to know you. So we give you a stable tour. We'll have a coffee and a tea with you. We talk. And I think right at the beginning, most people are nervous because they're not sure what to expect. So we make it very clear from the start of our stable tour where we'll introduce you to all the horses that you will ride, all instructors that will teach you, Danielle and Afonso, so that you start to get to recognize faces and you start to get to know the place and just feel a little bit more familiar with it, kind of like as if you were, going to a relative's home. The first day it's a little bit odd. You're not quite sure where everything is. We want to show you the place. So say, hey, if you want a cup of coffee here, if you want tea here, here's the tag. Help yourself. Like walk around, snuggle horses, cuddle horses, do your thing. It's fine. And I think in terms of riding in front of trainers, I understand. I think we all have it. Unless you're like an Olympic rider, but still, like our day-to-day riding, you're worried about being judged, and you're worried that you look a bit, odd on this horse. You might look amazing on your horse at home because you ride him every day. Now suddenly you're on a new horse, and it takes a little bit of time to warm up and get to know this horse. But I have to say that the beauty in one is the Lusitano breed is that they're just so forgiving and so lovely. But we do have so many different horses that cater to different individuals. So if we have a client come in who just wants to work on her confidence because she's had a bad fall in the past, we have specific horses that are there to help with that. And this is something that I do reiterate a lot, and it's that you don't have to be a great rider to come here. We have beginners that start on the lunge that come here. It's all about just getting comfortable on the horse, also getting to know the Lusitano breed and their versatility, their forgiving nature that they just generally have. I totally respect and understand the not wanting to be watched, but I have to say, we've seen all types of riders, from beginners, from kids to adults, to even myself. I fall off the horse, quite a few times. I've come off it left, right, and center. So they've seen it all. They've seen these plant. It's fine.
Yes. I mean, that was definitely something that was, when I, signed up, I wanted to do it all. I wanted to have the whole experience with you guys. I wanted to take working equitation lessons. I wanted to take dressage lessons. I wanted to, do the trails. And I
I will say though, doing the working equitation, because I've never done that, it was very humbling, and everybody made me feel just so welcomed, and so, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like no judgment, like laugh it off when you make a mistake, and just, you know what I mean? And the horses were so forgiving and just lovely to work with. And so and like you, I'll be honest, I've never really ridden a Lusitano before I got there, and definitely not doing a working equitation lesson for sure. So yeah, it's all brand new. And I mean, I love those kinds of experiences when, you're stepping out of your comfort zone, but I know that can be a little intimidating for other people.
Yeah, and I think we also, I don't know if Anna touched on it, because we breed horses and we train them. We work with young horses all the time, and I think working with young horses, it humbles you. So no matter, what level of rider you are, when we're teaching, we know exactly, what it feels like. We know exactly the sensations. It's not, for us, riding young horses, it's a daily sensation.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're planning a retreat or hosting guests, what details matter to you the most?
I think one would actually be size of groups. I know this one some people probably don't think the same, but I personally believe that sometimes too big of a group, this is my personal opinion, certain riders can get lost within the group.
Mm-hmm.
So and this is from personal experience when I joined a large group, and I had a friend riding with me who was a lot more quiet and a lot more shy. And when we would go out on a hack and she felt uncomfortable, she didn't feel like she could tell the guide that she didn't want to canter. She didn't feel like she could tell them, can you slow it down? Because some other riders were a lot more confident, and they were like, no, we want to canter, we want to keep going.
Yeah.
And so for me, group size is a huge thing. We normally work with, I think the maximum really would be between like 4 to 5 would be the biggest sizes that we do. And that's just to make sure that we can cater to everybody and make sure that every person's riding goals can be met and that nobody gets left behind or forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the details also are in our cultural experience. I think it's always a shame for people to come and to just ride a Lusitano, great, get off, and then just sort of go back to their hotel.
Yeah.
For me personally, I'm like, no, let's go and have a coffee, let's go have a tea, or go to a nice restaurant, enjoy some Portuguese food. For me, the Lusitano, it's part of their culture. It's part of the Portuguese culture. Mm-hmm. So it has to come in a package. So personally, I always think that it's one thing that we in Dom Cavalo really try to embrace, is that when you do come to ride with us, we then have castles, we have monasteries, and we want to show these to you as part of the Portuguese culture experience.
Yeah. I mean, that was definitely a highlight of my trip too. Of course, I want to see the country, and I want to learn more about Portugal when I was there. And the fact that I had the tours outside of the horses and just really got to experience, like you said, like going out to dinner with you guys, and even having our family dinner the night before we left, and just really getting to know you and the staff. I felt like I was walking away with friendships and not just somebody that was hosting me. And so I think that is a really unique quality that you guys provide. And like I said, I feel like I've made friends out of it, out of the few days that I was there. So
Definitely.
Yeah. So you coordinate with a lot with like going off site to trail rides, and we went to the beach ride and to the viewing the monuments. What goes into planning a ride that is like so beautiful, like the beach, but also keeping it safe for the riders?
I would say really it's down to the horses.
Yeah.
And choosing the right horses for the right riders. And that's why when we do, get requests, we do ask for the level, are you confident rider? Are you not? Because it's totally fine if you're a beginner. It's totally fine if you're not confident. A lot of people feel ashamed to say that. but the more honest you are, the better it is for us, really.
Yeah.
And I say it's just happy horses. Happy horses do happy trails. And our horses, for them, it's a great change of scenery. They love going down to the beach. And the same with the monastery rides. There is a little bit of planning that goes into it in certain occasions, because there might be a ride that falls onto a weekend where there's festivities and there's parties going on. I'm in Portugal, there's a lot. So we have to then just make sure that, the routes that we take are safe and that we're allowed to take the horses into the village or in front of the monastery on that day. So there's a little bit of talk with sort of the I guess council, you would call it, like a town council, to make sure that everything is fine. But because the Lusitano, it's such a big part of their heritage here, a lot of sort of villages and smaller cities, they're absolutely fine with having horses, come and go. If you've prepared it in the beginning. For example, in Leiria, we have a castle, and a couple of years ago, we took the horses up into the castle for a photo shoot.
Oh, cool.
We had the horses piaffing in front of it. It was just beautiful. But again, these a lot of the times are accepted as long as you sort of do your due diligence and make sure that you still abide by the council rules.
Yeah. I just thought that was I've never taken a tour like that where I'm riding up right to like the church, right up to the steps. And so I thought that it's so unique. And I was a little curious how that works out with, I know that you guys have a lot of parties.
Yeah. The Portuguese love to party. I'm for it.
I'm all for it. It's great. So what was one of your favorite trails or moments that you've had with guests since you've been there?
I would say probably it would be the monastery, the one that you went on the ride on. It's just because when we start the trail, we're in the village, we're in the forest, there's bits of everything. And I think when we come out in front of the monastery, it's when everyone goes, wow, and it's huge and it's beautiful. And I think the look on everyone's faces is what I love. I always sort of glance back to just see their faces, and it looks amazing. It's really, and the fact that we are riding the horses on these cobblestones leading up to the monastery, it has this really sort of ancient feel to it.
Yeah.
With the noises of the hooves, I love it. And then, once we get to the monastery, some clients like to jump off and go inside for a few minutes, visit it. But definitely the monastery is my top favorite trail ride, definitely.
Yeah, that was a highlight of mine as well. And like you said, just walking the horses on the cobblestones and hearing their hooves. And then I did get off and go into the church, I toured in there, and that was just, that's just a special moment. And I was saying it really gave me goosebumps when the whole experience. Yeah.
I still do. I still get them.
Yeah. Yes. So people often underestimate how much logistics go into equestrian travel and traveling and planning a holiday. What's something that no one sees you doing, but it makes all the difference?
I think sometimes it's the paperwork. I think it's the paperwork. For example, in November, as you know, we have the Golga Fair.
And tell us a little bit about that for people who are listening that don't know what that is.
So the Golga Fair happens once a year, and it's always in November. It's the biggest Lusitano fair in the world. So it's where a lot of the top breeders from Portugal come. They showcase their horses, and normal riders can also sign up to bring their horses to Golga. And this whole town of Golga just becomes a fair of just horses. Even houses, instead of garages, they have stables. So you walk through someone's front door and there's a few boxes in the back. It just turns into the most amazing, I can't even give it a good enough name to describe it. It's imagine just 100 Lusitanos, riders in traditional Portuguese clothes, riding through cobble streets and carriages coming past you whilst you're sipping your coffee. It's amazing. And I do think this is something that should be on everyone's bucket list to do at least once a year.
Yeah.
this year we had some clients come and they requested instead of just having the Golga tour that we do on foot, they requested also to ride at Golga. And yes, it's amazing because you ride on Golga, you stop over and you have a coffee on your horse. Some people have a beer on their horse. It's amazing. And I think there's a lot of this paperwork that you have to do to register, to make sure everything is legal, to make sure all your insurances are up to date, because you want to make sure that, everyone is well protected. So I think that the paperwork is something that no one really sees. They think we just put the horses in the box and we drive, right. We take them out. Yeah. I think, to be honest, the other thing, which is a bit of a no-brainer, is just the care of the horses. Yeah. There's a lot of behind the scenes of making sure that they're happy and that, you don't get sour horses on the trail, that make sure they're happy, they're looked after. Some horses, if they're not happy doing what they do, they need to go on holiday. They need to go on a break and just relax for a little bit. Yeah, and to be able to just give them that rather than to, force them to carry on working. Yeah. I would say, those are the two things I can think of right now.
Yeah, and I think that's so important to touch on because, being part of the Equestrian Travel Association and, we are all about horse welfare. And I think, a lot of people think horse welfare is about, making sure that, they're fed properly, that their feet are taken care of, that their tack is fitting properly. And of course, all that is very important. But also, being able to recognize when, horses need a vacation just like we do, and they need a break from their daily job, whatever that is, whether that's lesson program, whether that's therapy, whether that is trail ride or the combination of all those, and or competition horses. I even know for my own horse, like giving him time off sometimes is the best thing for everything, for his body and his brain. And I think that is such an important thing to talk about and to recognize as an organization, knowing that that's part of their welfare as well.
Totally agree, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. And that's something that Anna and I talked about too, is just the standards that you guys have for horse welfare and really putting the horse first. And, as obviously the horse comes first even and the guests, but having that balance between them both.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To make sure everyone's needs are met. And
without the horse, we got nothing. Yeah,
exactly. They are the backbone of what we do. So, we owe it to them. Definitely.
Yeah. So what is the biggest challenge of running an operation like this, especially when it comes to planning the tourism side of things? And what is the part that you secretly love?
That's a really, really good question. I think the challenges it's just the logistics of timing, everyone's calendar. I think for me that sometimes can be a little bit stressful because our trainers go and compete, and we have a lot of horses that are competing at the moment. So they will go on a competition, yet I have a client that wants to be there on that specific weekend. And it's just to make sure that we can keep everything running as smoothly as possible so that the clients don't know, that we are having to move things around, to make sure that everything all the needs are met. I would definitely say just making sure that everyone is there at that time for their specific roles. That's something that's stressful. But the joy is, though, that we all work really well as a team. So if someone needs a little bit of help, we're all happy to just pick up the pieces and just hold it together for that particular person. The bit that I love, I love socializing, interacting with the clients, because in case you haven't noticed, I like to talk. So I love talking and taking them out for lunches and dinners. I think the first lunch is probably one of my favorite. The first and the last meals are my favorite. The first meal because I get to know them a little bit better, and a lot of the time our lunches at the first day, it might just be myself or Anna and myself. So we keep it very small and very intimate so that we can really get to know the person. And then towards the end, I love it because it's what we did for you during your stay. We turned our tutulia, which is like a little small Portuguese clubhouse.
Yeah, it was great. It was so fun.
We turned that into like a tapas night where we have chorizo and all, lovely Portuguese food and laid out. And I love the last meal because it's a time where we've all gotten to know each other over those couple of days and friendships have formed. And that's when the whole team, we all come and share a meal together. And I love that because, for example, Danielle, he didn't just become your trainer, he now became your friend.
Exactly.
That you can keep in touch with.
Yeah.
And that, if he competes, you will follow him, or if you compete, he will, make sure to follow you on that. So it's nice. I think for me personally, I love the send off of that last meal.
Yeah.
Tutulia. It can't get more Portuguese than that, really.
Yeah. That was such a wonderful ending to a beautiful experience. And like you said, like I really felt like I made friendships and, now I follow you on social media and like it was just a wonderful way to end such a great experience. And like I said, it does feel like it was like family. It was like,
that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's the biggest compliment. If someone says that they walked away feeling like they've just had a meal with family and you feel warm and loved, that to us is 10 out of 10. It's exactly.
Well, that's how I felt. So
amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. So has there been any like unexpected or funny or only at Dom Cavalo stories from the trail that you could share?
Yes. You're not going to kill me for this one, but it's too good to not share.
Okay.
So we had the actress Dawn Oliveri, I'm sorry if I'm saying the name wrong, from Yellowstone. Dawn Oliveri. So she came to ride and she did a beach ride with us and she had a film crew that were going to film her. She was cantering along the beach and she's just so beautiful and so natural on a horse. And they needed someone to take her, to ride beside her along the beach. And it was Danielle that was chosen because it was perfect. And it was just one of those times that made us all laugh because basically Danielle and beaches sometimes don't go always hand in hand. He's had a few tumbles. He's going to kill me for saying it, but I've fallen off too. So it's all
it's
fair.
Fine. We've all fallen off. Yeah.
And it just was one of those things, one of those days where he was riding alongside her and the shot, the drone, the filmmakers, it was all perfect and all beautiful. And then lo and behold, Danielle's horse tripped and he fell down the sandbank. It was just one of those things where you think, really, today, out of all the days?
Of all the days, of course.
So poor Danielle had to get himself up and dust himself off. And I think that does stand so vividly in my head because it was one of the days when you have a Hollywood actress coming to ride. Everyone is on their absolute best. We have planned everything. The horses have been looked after. They look great. Everything is spot on.
Yep.
And then
there's a tumble.
Someone has to fall. There's a tumble down the sandbank with the horse.
And this is exactly why horses keep us humble.
Exactly. And Danielle's a Grand Prix rider.
Right.
He competes Grand Prix level. He's exceptional. Exceptional. Yeah. Even he has a tumble.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. That makes my day a little bit. So for someone listening and dreaming about Portugal and horses, the Lusitano horse, and this kind of immersion, who is Dom Cavalo, like your holiday perfect for? Like who's your perfect guest?
I would say anyone that wants to experience a Lusitano and who wants to also experience the Portuguese culture. It's one thing that I feel very proud of as Dom Cavalo is that I feel personally that we've really managed to combine both into one and that it's a very balanced stay between cultural visits and between riding a Lusitano. And in terms of who this would be great for, it's anyone that even wants a small weekend getaways. We have a lot of long weekend getaways from, for example, a Friday and a Monday, for riders that come from Europe or elsewhere and just have like an intensive immersion of the breed, of Portuguese culture, food, wine, and festivities. Yeah, to be honest, I can't think of anyone that it wouldn't be good for, if that makes sense.
No, it's great.
Because we're so unique and we're so tailor-made, our experiences, that we're able to really, make sure that every client and every guest has a very sort of niche experience that's tailored to exactly their requirements, exactly their goals, whether it's preparing for a competition and you just need a little bit help from a Grand Prix rider from his perspective, or whether you're a beginner and you think, well, I've never really ridden a horse, but Lusitanos seem nice.
Yeah.
Or whether you're just a hobby rider that has horses at home and you just want to incorporate a little bit of holiday along with your equestrian passion.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, it was so wonderful to have you on our show and to talk to you again. And I hope that I get to see you again very soon.
Yes. You're always welcome with wide open arms. Your family now, Megan.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure.
Now it's time to take out your culinary passport and join us for our Gourmet Globetrotter segment with our recipe of the month.
For our audience, we do ask all our guests to what is your favorite recipe from that region, whether that's something that you make at home or something that's really specific to your area in Portugal.
It's the first thing that comes up in my mind now, because at Sundays is when I went to my parents' home, and it is basically it's boiled meats with cabbage and several, like you called chouriça.
Okay.
Sausages,
Chorizo.
things like that.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can help in another way. It's very, very easy to do it, but it has so many flavors because all the meats are boiled with the cabbage, for example, and that water with the flavor of the meats also will boil the rice, some of the rice that you will do it. So basically at the same pot, a pressure pot, you put all the meats, beef, pork. There are people that put chicken, but that's not much common.
Okay.
Usually it's beef, pork, chouriça, things like that. Those kind of tapas that we do in Portuguese. So basically this is a Portuguese stew.
Okay.
Potatoes, all of it. And then you take some of that water and boil some rice, and the rice will also have the flavor of the stew.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Oh, that's a great recipe, especially for this time of year.
Yeah, exactly.
It's getting chilly and you need something a little warm and hearty.
And you can also do a soup after this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, with the leftovers.
Yeah.
Obviously, you may join more water, but the flavor is there. You can join some spaghetti, for example. You have some small potatoes and the meat, and you can have like a soup.
Okay.
Of it.
That sounds yummy.
Of the flavor that it has. Yeah.
That sounds really yummy. And I'll get that recipe from you, and I'll put that in our show notes for our audience to make that. I'm going to try to make that.
As we wrap up this episode of Galloping Getaways, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, the Equestrian Travel Association. As the founder, I'm proud to represent businesses that uphold to the highest standard of horse care and customer service in our industry. Whether you're planning your next adventure or looking for the perfect equestrian experience, our association is here to help you connect with trusted providers. Visit our website at rideeta.com to discover amazing opportunities and start planning your unforgettable journey today. Happy riding, and I'll see you next time. We hope you've enjoyed trotting along with us and discovering new destinations on horseback. Until next time, saddle up, explore the world, and may your travels be filled with hooves and happiness.